Welcome, everybody, to the Lesbian Line. This is our first episode ever, so I think that it would be a really good time to do introductions before we jump into what we're going to talk about on this show. Okay, so first things first, I'm Whitney. Nice to meet y'all. I grew up in between New York City and North Carolina. I am in my late Pisces Sun, Gemini Moon, Taurus Rising. If you know what that means, it's all true. All of it's true. I am currently in school for my doctorate, and in my research, I noticed that there wasn't a place where people were talking about queer relationship navigation and what it's like to be in queer relationships and what to look out for and what are the best things about it. I mean, yes, there are Reddit threads and podcasts already, but I noticed that all the stories that we have, there isn't necessarily a Reddit reaction kind of podcast. And I wanted to bring that to the table. For this degree, I do a lot of research on queer relationships, queer relationship navigation, things like that. And it inspired this whole channel. I actually got the idea in March, back in months ago. But I kind of psyched myself out of it. I was like, no, you don't know anything about podcasting. This might not work. You're already busy. I'm a full-time teacher. I teach high school special education. This year I'm teaching both geometry and American history. So I am pretty busy in between doing my own homework, planning homework for students. Also, I'm in a very happy relationship. It's almost been 2 years. So I do have a lot on my plate already. But ever since March, I kept thinking about it. And I was just like, you know what? I can do what I say I'm going to do. In terms of things that I've already accomplished, getting a bachelor's in English, a master's in business, a master's in special education, and now a doctorate in educational technology. Anything that I've decided that I'm going to do, I've done. So podcasting, I am nervous. I am currently nervous. But I think that as time goes on and as we, as a community, get to learn this channel better and appreciate this channel more, I think it'll be really, really good. I think it'll be amazing. Dreams for this channel would be to have live sessions, to have our own Reddit thread where we can post stories and interact with each other. When I first started getting into relationships, in specifically queer relationships, there was no one for me to talk to about it. My family didn't really embrace that part of me. Some still don't, unfortunately. And I had so many questions and I had so many things that I didn't know. There were so many things that I did not know. And looking back on it, looking at 14-year-old me, 24-year-old me, even 34 me, if there was a place that I could have gone to learn at least a few of the things, I would have probably been so much safer than was. All of those stories we'll get into later. But what really inspired this, in addition to my research, is all the little girls, all the little masculine of center, queer people, femme folks that are coming up and just don't have anybody anybody to talk to about these things, and they're running to social media because they have access to that. And if I could just help one person, that would make this all worth it. Okay, so I think that I have introduced myself enough. Of course, if you guys have more questions, feel free to leave a comment or a question. I will definitely answer them as I see them. But this is our very first episode, so let's jump in. Okay, before we do though, I do have to read disclaimer. Just a quick heads up before we dive in. I am not a medical professional. I am not a therapist. This is all commentary, conversation, building community. The whole project, the whole podcast is inspired by my doctoral research, which is all about exploring how queer people learn, share, and reflect on relationships online. We'll be diving into queer stories found on social media like Reddit, Instagram, or stories that you send in. Everything we talk about will be linked so you can read the original stories for yourself. Thanks for being here. And now let's get on the lesbian line. Okay, so with that being said, we are going to get into our first story that I will link below if you would like to read it. Okay, so this is coming from LGBT weddings on Reddit. Okay. Sister refused to attend my queer open wedding, said it wasn't judgment. How do I move forward and protect my joy? I, 31 female, just married my partner, James, 31 male. We live outside London. We're both bi, and our marriage is ethically non-monogamous, polysexual. It's honest, consensual, and works beautifully for us. Okay. My younger sister, Sarah, lives in Texas with her husband. They're evangelical Christians. Okay. At her wedding last October, she vowed to submit to her husband, which was very hard for me to sit through, but I still showed up, celebrated, and supported her. For months, she told me she couldn't come to my wedding because of work. But just a few days before, in the middle of peak wedding stress, she called crying and admitted the real reason. She can't support my marriage because it's queer and open. She also said that she thinks it would harm children. Choosing that moment to drop her judgment felt incredibly immature and cruel. Honey, that's because it was. After the wedding, she sent me a message saying she loves me unconditionally and has never judged my marriage, just felt worry. But not attending a wedding is judgment. By definition, she formed an opinion and acted on it by withholding support. To me, it feels like conditional love dressed up as unconditional. The harm to children argument is also false. Research shows kids of queer parents thrive, and studies of poly E&M families highlight honesty and multiple caring adults as strengths. The only consistent harm comes from stigma and judgment, exactly what her disapproval adds. I do love her, but I'm trying to figure out how to move forward. What I want is accountability, an acknowledgement that her absence was judgmental and disrespectful, plus an apology. Boundaries. My marriage is not up for judgment, commentary, or gossip. Not to me, not to anyone else. Protection of joy. I want to celebrate my marriage without her reframing or denial, making me question my own reality. My ask for this community. If you've had family reject your LGBT wedding or reframe their absence after the fact, how did you handle it? How do you balance holding boundaries and asking for accountability while also protecting your joy and not getting dragged into their rewriting of events? Too long, didn't read. My sister, 29 female, refused to attend my queer E&M wedding. I'm 31 female, married 31 male. She lied about work, then admitted days before the wedding it was because she can't support my marriage. Afterwards, she said it wasn't judgment, just worry. I see it as judgment and want advice on how to move forward with boundaries, accountability, and joy. Okay. Let's jump into the question that she asked specifically. If you've had family reject your LGBT wedding, how did you handle it? Okay. So I'm not yet married, but I do plan to be married. If someone said they didn't want to come to my what will be a very, very queer wedding, I've reached the age where if someone is telling me that they don't accept me or their love is conditional, I don't need them around. There isn't a person where I would bend or hide or compromise for, as far as queerness is concerned. I will say that weddings do bring out a side of people that is very truthful, and sometimes it's not very nice, and that's really rough. The person that wrote the story, Alternative P3843, I am so sorry that your sister did that. It was messed up. Like, I get that she is an evangelical Christian, but that does not give you license to be cruel to other people. I find it funny that Christian people sometimes make decisions that hurt people, other people so deeply, but claim to follow someone that has overwhelming love. So they say, I don't follow the Christian faith, but Jesus is said to, and God, of course, is said to love so deeply that it's not even a kind of love that we can fathom here on earth. So when a Christian person does something that is intentionally hurtful, it's confusing to me. It's like, how dare you say that you're following Christ, or that you have the love of the Lord in you, and then you treat someone that way. That always confused me. In any case, how do you balance holding boundaries and asking for accountability? Okay. No one is a mind reader, so you do have to verbalize what hurt you, how it hurt you, and how you were impacted by it. In this particular situation, you would call the sister, write her a letter, send her a text message. Hey, this is exactly what hurt me and why. This is what you said. I am heartbroken that my own sister wouldn't come to my wedding. And it's going to take a long time for me to get over something like that. You do have to let her know. If something like this ever happens to you where they won't come to your wedding or a party or, something you invited them to, you do have to let them know, hey, this hurt me. Now, after that, it would be, okay, what did they do after that? Were they apologetic? Did they try to ask follow-up questions to understand more? What happened after you shared your feelings? Now, if they dismiss your feelings or if they get defensive, then that's enough of an answer. People that love you and that care about you and want you to be, all right emotionally, will change the behavior because they care about you and they want you to be happy. People that don't. As far as accountability, there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, if this is the way you feel, then maybe we need some space. Maybe, you're not ready to be in my life right now and I have to accept that. But she can't be in your life if she's going to treat you this way. You don't deserve to be treated that way. You deserve the world, really. And if she can't see that, then that's just something that she has to deal with. It's always better to have healthy people in your life. And if they can't love and accept and celebrate you, then they don't deserve to be around. They just don't deserve you. Protecting your joy. I really hope that you had an amazing, beautiful, love-filled wedding. Everybody deserves the wedding of their dreams, whatever budget that may be. Everybody deserves just an amazing day to celebrate the person that they love. And you can hold on to that. Watching the video, if you videotaped it, going through the pictures again, talking to your marriage partner about that day, just to really solidify you can protect your joy by living in it. I think that's all my thoughts about this particular. No, it's not actually. No, it's not. I I have a marriage story. This happened 16 years ago. Weddings do that. Weddings are very interesting times. Okay, so okay, we're going here. All right, it's fine. Okay, so a family member was set to get married about 15, 16 years ago. And I was dating this person who wasn't very healthy for me, but that's neither here nor there. We were all invited to the wedding, myself, my partner, other family members were invited. And it comes a day where we're all going to travel because it was a long distance away. And we were all getting in the car, getting ready to go. And one of my family members, they noticed that my partner, who was masculine of center at the time, was planning on wearing a suit to the ceremony. We actually had matching outfits. To be fair, I was in my early 20s. I did not know the wedding rules. This was the first wedding that I had gone to as an adult. And my only nice dress was a cream colored dress. It was short. It had leaves on it. It was just an event dress. I'd had the dress since high school, but that was my nice dress. I was like a broke college kid. Like whatever. So my relatives had found out that my partner was going to wear a suit, and they were very, very, very upset. An argument ensued, a very spicy conversation. I was so upset. I was absolutely livid. And I ended up calling the groom and I said, hey, the family is saying that I can't bring my partner's outfit that they were planning because it's not the outfit that they want them to wear. Can you call them and tell them that it's fine? Because if this is happening, then I'm not coming. So the groom ended up calling the family members that I was going to be driving with, told them it was fine, not to worry about it. But the family decided, hey, we don't want any queer looking people at the ceremony. And the answer is no. My car at the time wouldn't have made it such a long distance. I didn't really have a choice. Either I was going to go with family or I wasn't going to go at all. Because again, broke college student, I wouldn't have been able to rent a car. I'm not even sure I was old enough to rent a car. I don't think I was quite 25. So it was a lot of yelling and screaming on my part, and my partner trying to compromise was like, okay, well, I just won't go and you can go. And I said, well, no, because they shouldn't have, the right to say what you can and can't wear. Like they're not, it's not their wedding. Like, why do they care so much? And it didn't occur to me how homophobic it was until years later. I realized it then, but I understood it more deeply as years passed. What ended up happening was that my partner at the time left the suit where we were living and they did not go to the ceremony at all. And they wore regular clothes to the reception. And in solidarity, I also wore regular clothes to the reception. Did not know it at the time, but that was actually really fortuitous because my dress was cream colored. And I wouldn't have noticed because I don't notice people staring at me. But what I know about weddings now, it definitely wasn't the dress to wear for that particular occasion. All of that to say that the family member that told my partner at the time what they could and could not wear was a bombastic action of homophobia, if there ever was one. It wouldn't be the first time, wouldn't be the last time that something like that happened, but that was the day that that relationship really started to die off. I had to come to the understanding that people that love you, people that want the best for you, people that, celebrate you are not out here trying to hurt you. People that are for your good will make sure that you're good. That particular wedding made me really realize and understand that these people are not for me. They're not for me. And it's not my job. It is not my job to try to convince them or get them to understand or to figure out how wrong they were. That's not my job to do. When your relatives show you who they are in terms of your queerness, it is not your job to fix it. It is their job to fix it because they're the ones that broke it, that broke the relationship, that caused the rift in the relationship. And you have no control over that. All you have control over is yourself. And if your relatives, if these people can't love you and understand you and see how beautiful and smart and creative and loving you are, then that's not for you to fix. You can't fix them. If anything, you can get yourself therapy to try to work through it and try to find a chosen family that will love you from now until forever. A chosen family that will want you at their wedding and whatever you decide to wear, even if it's like a blow up dinosaur outfit. Okay. Like there's a tribe for everybody, and it doesn't necessarily have to be your relatives. It really doesn't, because people that love you choose you and embrace you. And you don't have to deal with anything less. You don't have to deal with it.